So recently I talked about the fact that Carol Leonnig, writing for the Washington Post, or she writes for the Washington Post, she talked about the fact in a recent interview that Donald Trump's legal team has basically devolved into total chaos. And part of that reason is because you got lawyers coming and going, got different lawyers getting sidelined, some being listened to, some not. And then, a day after that report came out, it was revealed that Donald Trump has now hired more lawyers, brought in more people, because the lawyer he most recently hired for $3 million, $3 million retainer, Christopher Kise, has joined the ultra-conservative law firm called Continental. And I got to read this statement from one of Continental's lawyers. This is from Jesus Suarez, who says, "We're absolutely thrilled to represent conservatives who are shunned by big law. The fact that there's a segment of the legal establishment that won't represent a former president of the United States because they disagree with his political views is antithetical to the practice of law." That's not what happened, and you know it, you idiot. What happened was that big, reputable, good law firms didn't want to take Trump on as a client because they knew that he wouldn't listen to their legal advice. And based on everything that has happened with damn near all of Donald Trump's former lawyers, they didn't want to get in legal trouble themselves. And it's ironic that you would say something that stupid, considering that the guy you recently brought in, Christopher Kise, who's been working for Trump, now you're all working for Trump, his big problem so far has been that Trump won't listen to any of his legal advice, which is, of course, causing more problems for Donald Trump. But this little law firm, Continental, here is the Republican connections that these lawyers at this firm have. Suarez is a former chair of the Republican National Lawyers Association and was appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis to a judicial nominating commission. Other attorneys at the firm include Carlos Trujillo, a former Florida House member and Trump's ambassador to the Organization of American States, Richard Corcoran, also a former Florida House member, and DeSantis' former state education commissioner, and Paul Hawks, a former Florida 1st District Court of Appeal judge in Tallahassee. All Republicans fighting back against big law who won't take on these clients because they don't agree with them politically. Bullcrap. There are plenty of good conservative lawyers out there who would love the chance to represent Trump, but they're not willing to do it because they don't want to get in trouble and they don't want to be embarrassed by his behavior. This little boutique firm just wants the recognition, right? They want the fame that comes along with it. And boy, I got to tell you, when that is what your lawyer is looking for, that never ends well for the client. Go ahead and ask Alina Habba how that's working out for her and Trump. But here's the thing. Even if these lawyers are fairly decent, which I'm betting they're not, but even if they are, they still have the problem of Donald Trump's other lawyers. So by bringing in these people, Trump has just thrown his legal team into even more chaos. Because you do have people that have been working on the case for quite some time. You have some that have had to hire their own lawyers, like Christina Bobb and possibly even Evan Corcoran, for possibly obstructing justice. So they got their own legal problems. They've said things, they've filed things that, maybe not true. So these new lawyers would have to deal with that as well. You have Alina Habba, who in my opinion is only in this case to get famous. She is on TV every single day, pretty much. And you have everybody fighting with different agendas, as I pointed out earlier this week. Everybody wants to do their own thing that doesn't mesh with what everybody else is trying to do. And the more people you bring in like that, the more chaos you create, and the more difficult it becomes to defend your client. So, having said that, I will say, Donald Trump, please continue to bring in more lawyers, continue to cause more chaos, because that just makes it all the more likely that your defense is going to crumble if you should ever get indicted and put on trial. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.